Hello and many thanks for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed congratulated President of Djibouti, Ismail Omar Guelleh, on his inaugural ceremony, which took place on Saturday. Djibouti's government on April 10th announced that longtime President Ismail Omar Guelleh yet again won the election with a landslide, earning him a fifth term, citing provisional results. Home Affairs Minister Moumin Ahmed Sheikh told reporters that Guelleh received more than 98% of the 177,391 votes cast in the election, defeating his sole rival, businessman Zakaria Ismail Faram. On his way to Addis Ababa, the premier paid a visit to Ethiopia's Afar region. On his visit to the state, Abiy inaugurated Semera Industrial Park, erected at $59 million. Ethiopian Space Science Technology Institute inaugurated a multi-satellite ground station capable of receiving and analyzing data from 5 international satellites, as well as the ETRSS-1 and the ET-SMART. The institute says data from the country's ETRSS-1 and ET-SMART satellites are being used by various sectors. Emmanuel Joge reports.
Ethiopian Space Science Technology Institute inaugurated Saturday a multi-satellite ground station capable of receiving data from 5 international Earth observatory satellites which are operated by countries other than Ethiopia. Ethiopia is working on a digital transformation strategy compatible with the country's 10-year development plan to build a digital economy. And this new facility is part of the plan for digital transformation. Satellite Operation Director in Ethiopian Space Science Institute, Yilik Alchane, said the data from the country's 2 satellites, ETRSS-1 and ET-SMART, are being used by various sectors of the government.
Up to now, we have launched 2 satellites. From the satellites, we are taking images. We are continuously, every day we take images from the satellites which will be applied for agriculture, water resource monitoring, vegetation mapping, and for other similar applications. We are taking data continuously. So far, all the satellites are working normally. All these satellites are giving all the data services, and different government organizations are making use of the data for their applications.
An agreement has been reached to receive data from satellites of China, Brazil, the United Kingdom and the European Union. Among the main partners of Ethiopian Space Science Technology Institute, Vice President of China Head Aerospace Technology, Wei Sun, said this site is a great milestone of Ethiopia's space science development for several reasons.
This is multi-mission satellite receiving ground station is a significant milestone for the ISTI, because once this now today is inauguration of the ground station, and from after today, then the ISTI will be able to receive satellite imagery from multi-mission, and now immediately we already installed the terminal for the SuperView constellation 4 satellite. Is a very high resolution 0.5 meter pan, 2 meter multispectral, and it's very good for the safety monitoring, to support the defense, security, and also for the disaster management. Now also, we also installed the terminal to receive Gaofen GF3. This is a radar satellite, so it's a full weather satellite. You can take image day and night, also even cloud. So this is very good for the, if you have cloud, you can overcome cloud for the flood monitoring, and also you can take image in the night, and for the military, for other application, for disaster management.
The institute is working to expand space science technology in Ethiopia and to launch other satellites to space in the near future.
From now onwards, we will have access to 5 international satellites in addition to what we have, And in the next, we are planning to launch our own Earth observation, which will have high resolution. ETRACS-2, it is under plan, and also we are now working other satellite systems like communication satellite.
The new facility is expected to play a big role in maximizing UP Institute's effort to become leading and effective central facility in receiving and analyzing satellite information.
The National Electoral Board of Ethiopia announces a decision to extend the 6th general election by weeks according to EBC. The upcoming election may be extended by a period of up to 2 or 3 weeks as of today, the board said. NEBE is conducting consultative meeting with leaders of contending political parties on voters' registration process. It also expected that the board will pass decision to hold the poll in Addis Ababa and Diredawa city administrations in the same day with the national election schedule. The board also announced that more than 36 million Ethiopians have been registered for the upcoming general elections until May 12, 2021. Chairperson of the board stated that the people registered have accounted for 78.3% of the expected number of voters. It is also to be recalled that registration has been delayed in some regions, especially in Somali and Afar, because of security concerns and other issues. Voter registration, which took place in 11 regions and city administrations across the country, ended yesterday. The Chinese People's Liberation Army has donated COVID-19 vaccines and provided financial support for the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, aiming to strengthen cooperation between the two sides. Commending the support, Ethiopian Defense Force Minister Kenaya Deta said the Chinese government has been working in cooperation with the ENDF in various fields for a long time. Alula Teklamariam has more.
The Minister of Ethiopian National Defense Force, Kenaya Deta, affirmed that the diplomatic relations between Ethiopia and China is getting stronger and stronger from time to time. The minister underscored that China has offered education opportunities in various expertises, including the military.
ዛሬ ያደረጉልን ትብብር በተለይ ደግሞ ኮቪድን ለመከላከል የሰጡት
Today's support from the Chinese government deserves a precious value. We really thank them for their big support given to our National Defense Force. These all signal the all-rounded cooperation between the two nations. The bilateral ties between China and Ethiopia is not only limited to the economic sector, it also intensifies in the military cooperation. We have memorandum of understanding to cooperate in the defense sector.
Kena further commended China for sharing Ethiopia's voice in the United Nations Security Council.
ግንኙነቱ በኢኮኖሚ ብቻም ሳይሆን በወታደራዊ ትብብሩም በጥሩ ሁኔታ ላይ ነው ያለው።
China has been mentioned among the countries that respect Ethiopia's sovereignty in the United Nations Security Council. We are really grateful to China and Russia for their irreplaceable support.
Meanwhile, Chinese ambassador to Ethiopia, Zhao Ziyang, said the Chinese military support Ethiopian Defense Force is a sign of long-standing friendship between the two sisterly countries, recalling the importance of the medical support to help curb the spread of COVID-19.
The China PLA-aided vaccines will surely help protect the life and health of many Ethiopian defense officers and soldiers from the ravages of pandemic. Since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the People's Liberation Army of China has overcome the severe challenges of domestic COVID-19 prevention, supplied antivirus materials to Ethiopian defense forces, and is pushing forward the construction and the operation of high-tech hospital together with Ethiopian counterpart. At the same time, Ethiopian and Chinese militaries are working closely in many other cooperation areas as a close friend, reliable partner, and good brother of Ethiopia. Chinese PLA will stand firmly with Ethiopian Defense Forces to fight against pandemic together in this difficult time.
The ambassador said China-Ethiopia military relations will continue being cemented in various fields, which is part of the strategic relationship signed between the two leaders of the countries.
The China-Ethiopia military cooperation enjoys broad prospects. I believe our two sides will continue to implement the major consensus reached by the leaders of our two countries, promote the bilateral military relations, and enlarge the contents of the China-Ethiopia Comprehensive Strategic Cooperative Partnership in the new era.
Meanwhile, the government of China donated worth 23 million birr medical supplies to the state of Amhara.
Ethiopia is the source of the Blue Nile and contributes over 85% of the Nile's stream flow. To this day, Egypt and Sudan are using 100% of the water, sticking to their 1959 colonial agreement between them. Ethiopia is at the eve of completing the Great Renaissance Dam. The three countries have been in dispute over the construction, filling and operation of this dam. Even thought this dam provides major benefits to Sudan and Egypt in terms of reducing evaporation loss, silt, sedimentation and unexpected flood. This dam is not just about generating power. It is a matter of survival for millions of Ethiopians who deserve a dignified life as their Egyptian counterparts.
Ethiopia wants the world to know its mega dam on the Blue Nile River is built on the premises of equitable use of the water among riparian countries. That explains why Ethiopian president is conferring with leaders of various countries. However, Sudan and Egypt are currently working jointly to mystify their people as well as the global community with wrong narratives about Ethiopia's dam project. Critics say Sudan's shifting stance on the GERD is not only shameful but a manifestation of Egypt's extended arm on the issue. The following report sheds more light on this issue. Take a listen to it.
Ethiopia says it firmly believes that the GERD can be an icon of cooperation and mutual development among the downstream countries, with a commitment of no harm to both. The country's leaders have also been consistently telling Africa and the rest of the world that Ethiopia affirms its desire for an agreement that works for all parties in accordance with the Declaration of Principles. In fact, governments like the US seem to have understood the Nile and GERD dispute can have amicable solution if the trilateral talks are held among Ethiopia, Egypt and Sudan and based on the spirit of solving African problems by Africans. This firm position of Ethiopia has been reflected by US administration as Senator Chris Coons made it clear in Khartoum last week. He said the issue needs to be resolved between the parties in good faith, peaceably, and through negotiations. Despite changing views of the global community on Ethiopia's dam, Sudan and Egypt have continued long-lasting ambitions of using the water with monopoly. And they are currently working jointly to mystify their people as well as the global community with wrong narratives about Ethiopia's dam project. They are even threatening that they will wage a war on Ethiopia and destabilize the country. Following this unusual alliance of Egypt and Sudan, critics say that Sudan's handing over its sovereignty and national interest in the arms of Egypt is a miscalculation and may cost it a price.
It's a miscalculation. Thinking that by playing tough against Ethiopia, by adopting a tough policy and strategy, showing muscles. On top of that, lining up 100%, even landing in the pockets of, literally, it's arguable, I know, but literally under the shadow of the Egyptian government, putting their faith totally behind Egypt, even having a joint military agreement, fine. But military agreement, fine. But, synchronizing their foreign policy, the Ethiopian policy, with the Egyptians, I think is totally wrong. Any country is crazy if it tries to alienate its foreign policy, line up behind another country. Sudan should come first. As Ethiopians should also say, Ethiopia should come first. The national interest of Sudan interest, and not Egyptian interest, should have come first. Hard hit are the Sudanese, believe me. They will always take the brunt of whatever the consequences. And secondly, the Egyptians. But totally falling in the arms of the Egyptians is really like relinquishing, is like giving your sovereignty to another country. How about the Sudanese people? How about the Sudanese, the pride of independence? Because Sudan was also part of the Anglo-Egyptian condominium. They were ruled by the Egyptians.
Sudan should first fight for its own national interest and then to mutual interests of the three. He advises both Sudan and Egypt to work on resolving the dispute than worsening it.
And the Sudanese have a homework to do. Rather than occupy Ethiopian territories, for example, they should have liberated, they should have taken to court the Egyptians, to do what? To give back their land, okay? Again, when it comes to the Nile question, Sudan should fight primarily for its interest, just like Ethiopia fights for its interest, and then for the mutual interest of all three riparian states. That is not done. That is not done. Even if you take the al-Bashir, the past regime, and even until al-Burhan changed his policy, they had a Sudanese national interest in mind, but now it seems that is gone. So I think it's between the Sudanese government and the Sudanese people, and the Sudanese people are the ones who should make accountable their own government and not Ethiopia. But one thing is for sure, one should have a clear defined foreign policy without the interference of another country, which, by the way, that country, Egypt, always its national interest is what? Number one and not number two, like what Sudan is doing. At the end of the day, Sudan should think about itself and not about the other country. And regarding the Nile, it would be very, very fruitful, like Sudan used to do, if they focus on resolving this issue rather than making it worse.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed reaffirmed the nation's commitment to the African Union-sponsored trilateral negotiation during talks with the DRC President Felix Tshisekedi early this week.
Welcome back. Africa's Business Hero said it is contributing its fair share for the socio-economic empowerment of Africa, granting over $1.5 million to winner entrepreneurs from across the continent. The initiative has been encouraging youth groups to address the socio-economic bottlenecks of the continent since its commencement. In an exclusive interview with EBC, Head of Partnership and Programs at the Africa Business Heroes, Zahara Beatty called on Africans to expose their talents and actively participate in the ABH competition. Alula Taklamariam reports.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Africa's Business Hero Show. Tonight, 10 entrepreneurs from the African continent will pitch for a live competition for a share of $1 million in shared money. Our contestants shall have 15 minutes to win over the votes, the likes, and the impressions of our judges.
Africa's Business Heroes directly supports talented and promising African entrepreneurs through its namesake prize competition. Each year, the prize selects 10 business heroes from across Africa that competes for their share of $1.5 million in grant funding.
3 contestants will be the next round. One is Christiana Quizela.
Yes! I think she really deserves a big round of applause, Christelle.
In an exclusive interview with EBC, Head of Partnership and Programs at Africa's Business Heroes, Zahara Beatty called on Africans to expose their talents and actively participate in the ABH prize competition.
We would love to see entrepreneurs from Ethiopia in our top 10. So far, we haven't yet had any Ethiopian entrepreneurs in our top 10. We've had in our top 20 and in our top 50. And we hope that this changes this year. So my advice would be to apply. Fortune favors the bold, as we say at ABH. And so I suggest that all eligible entrepreneurs who are watching this, and who've tuned in, take the bold step to apply and bet on themselves. It can be an intimidating process, but we believe that you are problem solvers and we want to recognize that and we want to support you the way we can. So my advice is to visit africabusinessheroes.org, set up an account, read through our guidelines, and begin. It's a bit of an extensive application. It takes time, and we only have 4 weeks left. So I highly encourage all those who are listening and who are eligible to apply as soon as possible.
During the competition, participants have also exclusive access to training, mentoring, and learning programs, as well as to a community of like-minded African business leaders. Zahara expresses the role of the grant funding given to finalists in supporting African youth entrepreneurs to galvanize the economy of the continent.
Entrepreneurs can leverage the ABH prize to continue the important work that they are doing. Now more than ever, the world needs entrepreneur heroes to help local communities find recovery and growth once again. And we've seen from our own examples of our finalists who have stepped up to the plate, the role that entrepreneurs can play to fight COVID. And so we think that this grant fund come in at a very timely moment to provide funding to entrepreneurs that can help them navigate the COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges it's brought on, but also to importantly find additional solutions, to find innovative solutions to address the challenges brought on by the pandemic.
Zahara also expressed optimism about Africa's future, recalling the business opportunities in the continent.
It's African time. Our theme for this year is It's African Time, which is a bold call to action to all impact-creating entrepreneurs to step up to the challenge and to let the world know what they're doing, and to show that African time is one that involves innovation. It involves addressing problems with urgency, with creativity. And so my call is to step up to the challenge, to apply, and to let the world know what it is you're doing.
Africa's Business Heroes is the Jack Ma Foundation's flagship philanthropic program in Africa.
That was Lifebank delivering, making our first delivery with drones in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Africa is a continent of diversity, with varied climates and enchanting geography, and a people so distinct, but with a shared enduring spirit. We are at the heart.
Let's have a look.
We celebrate Africa.
Welcome back again. The Council of Ministers responsible for trade of the African Continental Free Trade Area endorsed the candidacy of Arkaba Kubai for the post of Director General of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO. In their meeting in Accra, Ghana on 3rd May 2021, the Council of Ministers recalled the decision of the 34th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the African Union, Heads of State and Government, which unanimously endorsed Ethiopia's Arkaba Kubai as the sole African candidate for the post. They also took note of the important role of United Nations Industrial Development Organization as the leading international body for the promotion and acceleration of sustainable industrial development in developing countries and economies in transition. The Council of Ministers responsible for trade expressed their support and confidence in Arkaba Kubai's track record of extensive and successful leadership, scholarly excellence, and his vision of carbon neutral and inclusive industrialization, which make him the suitable candidate for Director General of UNIDO in the post-COVID-19 era.